Hello, welcome to this video. My name is Olabi. I'm the creativity expert. I'm the bridge between you and your highest creativity. You can also call me the mind surgeon because I help people carry out mind surgeries. People who have ideas in their minds, in their heads, that they are unable to flesh out into tangible form. I come in like a mind surgeon and carry out what I call a mind cesarean session on such people, and I help them pull out those ideas and give those ideas tangible form so that people who were destined to benefit from the brain children that are to be delivered by you can get to experience them, feel them, smell them, touch them, hear them, and see them. That's basically what I do. And so today I have something powerful to render to you, something interesting, something that will stimulate the giant within you to come alive, something that will stimulate the greatness within you to be unraveled, to be unleashed, to be released. What is that thing I'm going to talk to you about today? It's simple. Do not get married to methods because they worked before. And another way to say that is, do not make traditions out of methods because they worked before. Now, innovation does not wait for a method to stop working before inventing a new method. Innovation does not wait for a method to fail before it creates a new one. But tradition gets married to a method because it worked before and refuses to let go of that method. And if you look around the world today, most of the great achievers are people who disrupted traditions, who disrupted conventions, who disrupted the norms and came up with something unique, came up with something different. So if you're going to release that creativity that is inside of you, if you are going to birth your brainchild, you need to be ready to innovate. I'm going to also add something to what I have to say to you today, because I've always explained the equation of creativity in this manner. As a matter of fact, I have many different equations for creativity, but that's a discussion for another day. But one fundamental equation of creativity is idea plus production, or idea plus execution. So idea plus production equals creativity. I want to break that equation down a little bit further because a lot of people don't really understand the mechanics of how these different variables in the equation work. So I'm going to bring out production in that equation. Idea plus production equals creativity. So now let's bring production out of that equation so that we can explain what production is all about. Now, what is production? Production is simply the processes, the procedures that are required to go from idea to tangible creation. So production is like that process, that procedure that you subject your idea to, that brings about the maturity, that brings about the growth, that brings about the development, and make that idea sellable, and make that idea worthy of note. That's what production is all about. And if you go far back into the history of economics, you would recognize that we've been taught that there are 4 factors of production. There is land, labor, entrepreneurship, and capital. These are 4 fundamental factors of production that great economics, political economics like Karl Marx and the rest have propounded, and they've told us these are the factors of production. But stop there for a while. Are you aware that the new generation of creators no longer regard the 4 factors of production again? And this is exactly what innovation and creativity is all about. We are in a time in our world where most of the things that were thought impossible 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago are now possible. For example, nobody ever believed that remote work could be possible ever in this world. But today people are working from different countries for companies they've never been to physically. Today the world has moved from brick and mortar business model to click to order business model, and the e-commerce space is exploding with profits every day. Why? Because people have disrupted the system. They've changed the order of the day, and the factors of production that we were told are fundamental have been redefined. And that's what creativity is all about. And so my message to you today is that what are the factors of production that seem to be hindering you from going from idea to creation? The factors of production are there to aid you. They are not there to be a hindrance. So whenever a factor of production is seeming to be an hindrance in your progress, it means you have to think of a creative way to overcome those factors or overcome those obstacles. So for example, people say, I don't have capital, and that's why my ideas are going to die with me. That's why my ideas are going to go to the grave with me. I don't have capital. Some people say, I don't have capital, and that's why my ideas have been aborted. That's why my dreams have been aborted. But creativity doesn't think like that. Creativity will figure out a way around that seeming problem. And that's what creativity is for. So you don't need the factors of production to all line up before you begin to produce. You only need to find the most critical and significant factor of production that is required for you to get your minimum viable product. What do I mean by minimum viable product? I mean the product that with the least amount of resources, with the least amount of processes, you can get it out there for people to experience, at least for starters. So let's say you need money to finance your big idea. Can you first of all develop something with what you have and let people see the extent to which you can go with what you have? I'm not telling you this for you to expect people to automatically fall in love with your idea and give you money, because at the end of the day, you must have this mindset that I always have. Nobody owes you anything. So you could end up producing with what you have and nobody ends up giving you anything. That's not the point. The point is who you become in the process of developing that gift, developing that idea with the resources you have. That's the point. And as you do that, you begin to become the fulfillment of that idea, despite you don't have all the resources. And before you know, you would attract the money that you need. You may not get handouts, but you will definitely attract the people that will help facilitate your vision. And I can give you an example. Uber is a ride-hailing business that you probably are aware of. And this is the taxi business that is run from an application, from a software application, without the glorified land, without having land, without having big buildings, without even owning cars. Uber runs its business. Why? Because it has disrupted the 4 factors of production. And this is what I'm passing across to you, that you can actually disrupt that industry if you rearrange the factors of production to suit you. So forget about how it has been done before. That was what Uber did. Before Uber came into the market, before Uber came into the system, taxi businesses had already been in existence. They needed offices, they needed to buy vehicles, they needed to hire drivers, they needed to employ a lot of staff before they could run it. That was the brick and mortar system. But Uber redefined the system. The idea was to provide ride-hailing services for people, but in the absence of the money and the brick and mortar buildings, the cars, the land, and other factors of production that were required, the founders of Uber were able to reinvent the process. They were able to rearrange and reimagine the factors of production to line up to their favor. So it's simple. You've got to act. You've got to act on that idea. And as you act on that idea, something happens inside you. You become better at what you do. The idea becomes aligned with you, and you become aligned with the idea. And then from within, you begin to attract the people, the materials, the resources, the finances, and all the other factors of production that you really need to line up for you. So I'm going to stop there for now. I could go on and on this topic for weeks and even months, but I'll stop here for now. Have a nice day. Drop your comments, share and like this video, and watch out for my next videos. Thank you for listening.